What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning again. It's your host, Carlos Ponce, and this is another live episode of Advancio Talks. And if you're just discovering us, well, welcome. And if you've been here since the very beginning, since 2022, you know what we're about. So Advancio Talks is where we sit down with the people actually building the future of business and technology. Not just talking about it, but actually doing it. CTOs, founders, the folks making decisions that matter. So whether you're drinking coffee, commuting, or just curious about what's actually happening in tech and business, stick around because today we have Adrian Perez and Jose Contreras, co-founders at bubusan.com. They're going to tell us all about it in a minute. And so stick around because both Jose and Adrian, they have stories and insights you won't hear anywhere else. So let's jump right in. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you, Jose. Jose and Adrian. Uh, so welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us, Carlos. Pleasure to see you again. A pleasure to be on with you.
Absolutely, yeah. I look forward to this conversation. I got a lot of questions for you guys, but let's start. Let's keep the juicy stuff for a little bit further down the road on the show because we want to start with you. I mean, you are the stars of the show today. Tell us and the audience a little bit about you. Who is Jose Contreras? Who is Adrian Perez? So, guys, who wants to start?
Go ahead, Adrian.
I started life as a software engineer and then eventually got into mechanical engineering and inventing stuff. And then at one point, Jose started talking to me about this idea he had doing that then led to Bubusan. So that's kind of my journey. I love inventing things. I love making new stuff. And I find it really ironic that, I started off as a software engineer, left that, and I'm now a software engineer again.
Well, you like to tinker, right? That's good. So, okay, Jose, what about you? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name's Jose Contreras, and I'm here in beautiful Silicon Valley in San Jose, just down the road from Adrian. Adrian and I have been friends and family for a great many years now, through Matt, his dad. And I had the idea for Boo Boo Son because I was facing some issues around my health and I wanted to address them quickly. And I didn't know if a pharmacological solution was the best idea for me. And so for me, it's a great pharmacology might be great for other people, but I needed a support system, and so that's what brought about the idea of Boo Boo Son as a metabolic health and wellness coach.
All right. Thanks, Jose, for elaborating on your journey, your background. So now let's talk about the company and what you're building. It's Bubusan. First of all, I got to ask you guys. There's probably a story behind the name because it's not a common name, right?
Yeah.
Bubusan.com. So tell us a little bit about Bubusan. So you take the lead from this point on. Whoever wants to take the lead on the talk, or at the same time, it's up to you guys.
So
I think Jose should tell the Bubusan story.
Okay. Originally we were going to call it. I wanted to call it Daniel AI. I have a brother named Daniel Contreras, and he passed away last August. He was young. He was 42 years old. He passed away due to complications of his diabetes type 2. And so I wanted to use that as a way, as a homage to him, as a way to, to celebrate his legacy in his life. But Daniel AI was taken by some self-serving person. No, I'm just kidding. It's some guy, Daniel. I forget his last name, but he used it as a page for himself. As I think he's a software engineer or something, or an AI guy. So that's cool. So then I decided, what else could I do that's kind of unique and kind of cool? And so my brother Daniel used to perform. He performed with Papa Roach. He was a singer. He performed with Alien Ant Farm. and among others. And he had his own band, Wet Bandits and Eris, and a couple of, to name a few. And his stage name was Boo Boo Son. So here in San Jose and in the music industry, they knew him as Boo Boo Son. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool because it's kind of unique. It kind of rolls off the tongue pretty easily, and it's if you say Boo Boo San, in this space, referring to what we've built, then there's not a confusion to what else it might be. So that's where the name Boo Boo San came up from.
Right. Okay. Quick question. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I mean, I know we're doing this live, but that's the beauty of doing things live is that you're able to come. All the glitches are just there, and you're being honest and transparent. I just realized that I had the wrong configuration with my mic.
No worries.
So I just fixed it. So I hope you can hear me. So anyway, let's continue. Thank you for Jose for telling us a little bit about Boo Boo Song and the name and how it came about. So let's move on to the topic. For today's conversation, we're going to be discussing AI for metabolic health, right? So this is what we're going to be talking about. And I would like to start by asking Adrian and as well both of you guys, why did you feel that this was? Why did you choose this particular topic, and why did you feel it was relevant for this day and age? Remember, we're talking about AI for metabolic health, so there's an intersection there between technology and the human body. So why did you choose? Why did you think it was relevant for this day and age?
Well, so back in December of 2024, as I mentioned, my brother had diabetes type 2. My mother has a history of diabetes in her family. And in December of 2024, on my birthday, I went to the doctor, and I weighed 295 pounds. And the doctor said, if we don't do something, and I'm 6'1", so I'm a big guy. The doctor said, if we don't do something, then, we're going to need to discuss putting you on a GLP. Mm-hmm. Which is, Ozempic, Wegovy, and, Zepbound and all those kind of things, right? Mounjaro. And so I decided, well, let me, I wrestled in high school, and, I was an athlete. So let me see if I could, I've heard the keto diet. I've heard about a lot of things, right? And I said, well, let's see if I can't do this on my own. So my next doctor's appointment was in February 2025, on February 24th in 2025. So 2 months later. And I went back to the doctor, and I had lost 6 pounds. So I was like $289 mm-hmm. pounds. And I was frustrated because I did a lot of fasting and a lot of exercise, and I saw the daily progress, but I exercised my butt off, and I sacrificed a lot of meals, and I wasn't getting results. Mm-hmm. And she said, hey, so, I want you to go and take these tests, these panels and stuff, and then come back, and we're going to talk about putting you on one of these drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, or something. And I didn't want to do that because, not that it's bad, but I just felt like, I think this is something I could do on my own, but something's missing. And then I had read an article about how this guy had found a cure for his dog's cancer using AI, and he had a buddy that was, I don't know if I read that article or another, but it was a similar article. I think maybe Adrian, you told me about the dog guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Adrian told me about the cancer guy, but I had told him about it. I saw some guy that had solved, an issue with using AI. And so I said, well, maybe I could use AI to figure out a way to get my body to where I need to be to get healthy again. So I uploaded my lab results. I told the AI exactly where I was at, what I wanted to do, my goals and everything. And so we created this framework of support and analyzing, what the human body does, how a human body functions, and how it affects, little interactions throughout your day, affect your body's outcome as a whole and your output. So little by little, I started doing this, and I started having a conversation with the AI, and I started treating it like it was my coach, and it started talking to me like it was a supporting and nurturing, part of my life. And so slowly but surely, I started losing weight. I started getting progress. And so by the next time I went to the doctor, a year later, I had gone from 295 pounds, 289 pounds, actually in that February, to when I went this past, again in March, I was at 245 pounds. So I had dropped from 295 to 245, 50 pounds, using AI. basically as a part of my life, as a daily support structure. And then since then to today's date, like I weighed in this morning, I weighed 237 pounds. So I weigh 237 pounds today as we sit. You know, gone from 237 pounds. Yeah. So almost 60 pounds, about 58 pounds I've lost. Not altering, not going on any crazy diet, not missing meals, not doing any extreme physical regimens, just having a daily conversation with my metabolic health and wellness coach, telling it how I feel, how I sleep, what medications I'm on, what my activity is for the day, outlining a plan for the day, checking in, having that support system. And I have a friend who is a nurse practitioner for the cardiology unit at UCSF. And she had told me that that a lot of times it's frustrating as a practitioner because patients come in having had multiple doctors. They have a primary doctor, a cardiology doctor, and whatever, a diabetes doctor, and they're on plans. But they don't stay on the plans because it's very difficult to stay on the plans. They're supposed to fill out a sheet of paper, or they're supposed to do something and track their nutrition or their blood pressure or their blood sugar levels or something. And they give them a piece of paper to write it down, or they just forget to do it, or they forget the notes of the plan or whatever. She said more than 60% of plans, people fall off their plans within the first 60 days. So imagine people getting a prescription for a drug. It's an immense cost to the insurance companies, or getting a prescription to, do something, filling a prescription of a GLP-1 type medication that costs hundreds of dollars to fill, and then not using it, right? Because they get frustrated from the results, not seeing the immediate results, not understanding that there's a process. So there's you will go to your doctor maybe once every 3 months or twice a year or something, or 4 times a year, right? Or something like that. But there's all the hours in between where you're there by yourself, not knowing how to understand what the plan is, or how to behave, or how to deal or manage, right? And so we created this as a metabolic and wellness health coach. It's a companion app, companion AI. So you can basically talk to it as it was a person, using a mic on the app, or typing in exactly what you had, taking a picture of your doctor's plan. Like I have sleep apnea. So I take a picture every morning of the app's report for the night before. And then I send it to Boo-San. I tell Boo-San what my weight is that morning. I tell it, it knows, it understands what I ate the day before. I fast. Fasting is part of my plan that we came up with, with Boo-San. And then it says, hey, this is where your measurables are for today versus yesterday. You're right on plan. It tells you, where you are against your plan, and it can, stores your metrics. Like there's something that's called, your macros, your daily macros. Like for me, I have it store my daily macros to tell me where I am, where I'm in a deficit. Sometimes it'll tell me, Jose, you're not eating enough today. You need to eat more, because if you don't eat enough today, your body's going to have a problem with what they call a cortisol spike. So even though you've exercised and not eaten a lot, you're going to show a gain in weight, because that includes your body to have an inflammation reaction.
Right.
And even though you think you did everything right, you gain weight. Well, it's not anything that you did. It's just that you're not eating enough. Right. Sometimes not eating enough adds to weight gain. And so what Boo-San AI does is Boo-San helps you understand these signals and interprets these signals and patterns in real time. Right. So you can make adjustments on the go. It's not like you there are a lot of great trackers out there that'll track your calories and your activity, but that's all static data. It's a good record, base of record. Like you can go back and see what you did over the week, but it doesn't tell you how to react in the moment, or how to react for tomorrow, or how to plan for tomorrow. It just tells you what you did.
So what I'm hearing is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I'm hearing is a personal health journey became a product vision, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, at what point in time did Adrian come into the picture as a co-founder?
Oh, I can take that.
Uh-huh.
The Jose had this experience by going to ChatGPT and developing this dialogue where he's adding in information about his health, asking it, I want to be metabolically coached on what to do after a meal, what to do each day, how can I exercise? And he came to me, we had known each other through my dad, like he said, and we're talking about this thing he's doing. And he's like, Adrian, do you think we could develop an app for this? And all of the conventional thinking at the time was that an app like that was going to take months and months of time to develop, and that it would be a laborious manual process. And not only are we using AI for the coaching itself, but we're also using AI for the development. And that's something Jose didn't know that I was really into at the moment. I've been coding using Claude Code, which is Anthropic's tool.
Mhm.
And I've been doing this for years, probably like I've been what's now called vibe coding, now that it has a name, maybe five years ago at this point, and doing image generation with AI and stuff before that. Back when you were doing it on your PC and you only had your little graphics card working on it, so that if you generated an image, the image was this tiny little set of pixels. So now that it's all in the cloud, it's supported by these organizations that can really put a lot of metal behind it. We have gotten to the state where we can what's called vibe coding, which is just you're coding along with the your AI assistant essentially, and so there's vibe coding where you ask it, oh, what program would I write if I were going to make a music app, and it generates it for you, and then you edit that. And now there's also agentic coding, and in agentic coding you have an app that like essentially will take more prerogative. So you could say, oh, how would I generate this app? It's not just going to tell you how, it will go and do it for you. And that means that we have a different rate of ability, especially for prototypes and getting products out to their MVP status, which is minimum viable product, that allows us to move very quickly. And I told Jose, I think we could code it in a weekend. And we spent, I think, a Tuesday and a Thursday only working maybe about 3 hours, and we had our first version.
With
Lunch in between, yeah. So that led to the first prototype within what I would say is 6 hours of this agentic coding. And a lot of it is, what prompts do you use? What do you say to it?
Yeah.
Someone who is unskilled at talking to the computer it's gonna move slower. But if you know what the computer needs to know, you can communicate with it and really get something out the door very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for telling us a little bit about that. My last question about the story and the origin is the site, the website mentions that the founders or Jose's transformation became the what I call the beta data set, right? So how did you go from personal data and lived experience to something scalable enough to coach other people?
So what I did was not only was I training my LLM to coach me, but I was asking it the questions like, oh, I want to make this in a product. How would we build this as a product, and what would the framework references be to be able to steer a person in the right direction? I also asked it to compare my data set daily, tracking back all those 18 months compared to that of a user. Where would I be in my progress if I had actually taken a GLP, right? If I'd actually taken the shot, right? And so it compared that my production and my outputs and my data and where my gains were, where I was trending, I was actually ahead of a GLP, right? I was actually like, I had lost ahead of what my schedule would be had I been on a shot. No side effects or none of that, right? But here's the thing, like, I am not anti-GLP. I am for it. As a matter of fact, I think the GLPs are a great way for people to get their metabolic health, and their lives back. There's a lot of, what really inspired me was I have sleep apnea. I was obese, right? High blood pressure. I've been able to control and manage all that. So this falls into the care and the space of what they call the chronic condition, right? There is a $4.2 trillion chronic market of health and wellness problem in the United States alone. So that means that people are managing sleep apnea, people are managing obesity, people are managing a bariatric surgery, which is when they have their stomach stapled. People are managing chronic kidney disease. People are managing fatty liver, hypertension, all these diseases that have a plan from a doctor, that have some kind of pharmacology attached to them, and that requires some kind of daily, maintenance or daily reverence to the plan to make yourself healthy again. So I said, why not, why not build a place where people can work with their doctor given plans to stay on plan and see the progress so they don't fall off. The problem isn't that the plans fail. The problem is that the people fail because they don't have the coaching or the support. So we make, the Bubu-san icon is actually a cartoonish, character of my brother, Daniel. He looks just like my brother. And my brother was very beautiful, warm, and loving and inviting. He had so many friends. In fact, for his funeral, we had like over 400 people show up at the church. There were people outside. So he was very beloved. So that's what kind of like, I want a coach that would be like my brother. Like, he's kind and comparing and nurturing. So what Bubu-san does as a wellness coach is it doesn't like admonish you. It doesn't tell you did bad. It said, hey, that's okay. You had a setback. It's just a hiccup. Here's how we rebound. So it gives you this interaction of like care and support and nurturing, just like you would get from having a teammate or having a coach or a companion that is on this journey with you. So like, we want to see people go to the doctors and get on their medical plans and take advantage of, these great, medical plans that help them save their lives in a lot of cases. Right. But, but you could also have a personal plan. Like for me, it was a personal plan. Like I did it myself. Right. I want to do this because there's always some people that, it's the timing that they write. There's always people at New Year's, like, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose weight and get in shape for the summer or for the next year. And the gyms are like, statistically, you can see the gyms are crowded from January to March. But after March, everything is easy to use again. There's no crowds at the gym because people fall off, right? Yeah. So that's where the idea from that came, is like managing chronic conditions, and we wanted to make it simple enough. Like, here's a statistic that's people are gonna. There are 200 million adults about my age, in the United States, or between 40 or over, let's say, 200 million people that have social media and own a cell phone. Mm-hmm. Right. So of those 200 million people that have social media and use a cell phone, 6 in 10 Americans are managing a chronic condition, meaning whether it's diabetes, chronic kidney disease, obesity, hypertension, sleep apnea, all those that I mentioned, right? Even mental wellness plans, like people managing bipolar disorder. They could be people managing a health and a mental disorder, right? And so Bubu-san is designed to like manage multiple plans at one time and give you that coaching advice, never medical advice, right? Because we always defer to a doctor plan, always, do no harm, always protect the human from the human, right? Those are some of the guardrails we put in. And so that said, of those 200 million, there's 120 million people with cell phones that know how to use a Facebook page or Instagram or Snapchat managing a chronic condition. So if people can get on their socials daily, why can't you apply the same reasoning to manage your chronic care?
Okay, great. Yeah, that's quite a story, to say the least. Because I would definitely be interested. I don't suffer from diabetes or anything, but I do have close relatives who might be interested in looking at this more closely. But let's take a little closer look under the hood on the tech side. This is what I'm not an engineer. I don't have an engineering background, but I do know what's going on in the tech world to a certain level. So at its core,
I can describe that.
I was going to ask you a question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. No. What I was going to say is, at its core, what is the AI actually doing when it coaches someone in real time? Let's say, is it a large language model, a custom model, or combination of technologies?
It is a large language model, and that is essentially a large neural network that has processed tons and tons of data. These LLMs that are produced by OpenAI, which does ChatGPT, or Anthropic, which does
Claude.
Claude, have sampled huge swaths of the internet, books, all sorts of media in order to generate this basically connective knowledge base that then can output natural language. And so what we do is we have we give the LLM, in this case that we're using, we give it the information that Jose got from his personal experience and genericize it so that it can apply to anyone, so that anyone with a metabolic health issue gets, you have to tell it things like Jose was saying, guardrails, like do no harm, always defer to the doctor's plan, and then to have it, because these LLMs, they start off as generic tools. You then have to guide it to be, in our case, a metabolic health coach. So we do that. We say, you're a metabolic health coach. This is what you're doing. This is how you're going to behave when interacting with one of our clients. So the user experiences this as a conversation, a chat conversation. And when a user arrives, the first thing they see is Bubu-san talking to them, saying like, "Oh, tell me about yourself." And you could say something like, "Oh, I'm a 43-year-old male. I'm this height. I'm this weight. These are my goals." And Bubu-san will respond like, "Oh, okay. I'm glad that I know that, because then I can, guide you better as we recommend meals, as we analyze the meals you've had or the exercise you've done." All the while, what we've done is we've made it that as this conversation is happening, all of that is being put into your profile.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, "Oh, I'm a 43-year-old male," to Bubu-san, you'll see on the side, oh, it now knows that I'm a 43-year-old male, and it has that inputted. So this whole thing of filling out meal plans or diaries or exercise diaries or for your doctor, that's automatic. There's none of this like filling out some alienating form. You're having this as a natural language conversation. If you use the microphone, you're literally talking to it,
Right.
not typing it.
Absolutely.
So we build this, and there's no like, "Oh, let me go to a drop-down menu for which type of lettuce I ate, or the leafy green." It's like, no, you don't have to do that. Bubu-san knows that already. And from that, whenever you say, "Oh, you could send it a picture of a sandwich," and it'll be like, "Oh, it looks like there's lettuce in there. You said it as roast beef. This type of bread is white bread. Your caloric intake on this is probably this, and there's probably this amount of fat and this amount of sugars," or whatever you're going to ask it about the meal, it can figure out automatically. We don't have any of these extra steps that make it laborious for the user to input these things.
Okay. Listen, we're kind of coming up on time, and I still have a couple of questions that I would like to ask you guys. One of them is still regarding the tech part, or somehow connected to the tech part, is because your users are, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, but I believe that users are sharing sensitive metabolic and behavioral health information daily, right? So is there some kind of data privacy or security model in place, or how do you handle that?
Well, right now we don't ask for any personal information. We just ask them what they're willing to share. Like, this is how much I weigh. This is how much I weigh. These are my goals. And if you can volunteer, like, hey, I want to manage my hypertension and I'm on these medications, right? But we don't ask you for like personal information or doctor's records. We don't even ask you to put your birth date or anything in there. Like, there's no way you could call it. You could say, "My name is, Don Quixote." You can make anonymity, right? And then you could, what we do allow is like all this conversation, all these macros, everything are stored in your profile, as Adrian said, like even your sleep, right? Like I report my sleep, like I have some friends that have volunteered to use this. We have probably about 6-10 users.
Okay.
And two of them actually have three conditions. Two of them are GLP, dealing with mental, like depression, or anxiety, on a medication, and sleep issues, right? And those two in particular love using Bubusan because they're getting better sleep now than they've ever gotten, because I'm telling them to understand how they're eating, when they're eating in the day, and the types of foods that they're eating to improve their sleep. Right.
I would also add on the security side. So when you use an LLM that goes to a company that is hosting it in the cloud, for our case, we've selected the options that end up not sharing info. So when you use an LLM, you can either share information with that company or not share the information with the company. We're choosing not to share the information with that company.
Okay, I see.
Because again, you don't want that escaping out into the world and through them, and then we also had to do everything under our power to make that a secure process.
Absolutely.
Because it's not a medical issue.
Right.
This is just sort of a coach that's guiding you. It doesn't fall under HIPAA and the medical records and all that thing, because it's not like it's not like a medical device or some FDA approved program where we would have to
have that
HIPAA compliance and all those things.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that, and this is going to be my final question, is the hardest problem you're solving is really not the tech itself, but what I would loosely call human follow through, right? So how do you measure success when the enemy is real life itself?
It's easy because it's how you feel about yourself. Success is how you feel about yourself, right? It's like instant gratification from knowing you had a great day, and then from there you just try to put another great day in the books. I am a proud member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been sober 23 years. My sobriety birth date is February 23rd of 2003. One day at a time.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do here is just stack wins in a row, right? Stack days. If you feel good, the results will show when you go to the doctor, right? Oh, and by the way, one thing we failed to mention was that Adrian came up with a really great way to, like, all those conversations that you're having about tracking your macros and your medical, when you took your medicine and how you feel and your sleep. That could all be exported into a CSV that you could email or take with you to your doctor.
Right, exactly.
So it's all downloadable, so no need for forms or anything like that. You just say, hey, here's since my last visit, this is 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, right? So then it'll show traction, how it tracks with the succession of the plan you're on.
Right. So
I think to answer the follow through as well, when you talk with Bubu-san, let's say you had been having a bunch of consistent great days, and then you tell it, oh, today I had cheeseburgers and 16 gallons of Coca-Cola, all these things that you probably shouldn't do. Bubu-san doesn't attach shame to that. It just says, oh, okay, well, it looks like that for the next meal you should probably do this then. Oh, okay, then maybe you should go walk more today. There's no shame attachment. So this thing of shame for our bodies and our feelings about our health, that goes away. It's an infinitely patient counselor. So it makes it much easier to follow through, because often shame and inconsistency are what cause the thing to drop off. But it makes it very easy to enjoy it and be consistent with it.
Absolutely. Well, we need to wrap up, so I'm going to leave you with your final words of wisdom. So, how would you like the audience to remember you by? What are your final words of wisdom for the audience?
It's the best time to be coding MVPs. I'll say that on the tech side. Agentic AI is really fun for that type of thing. I know a lot of coders who are afraid of the world to come, and the thing is, we still need expertise. Experts are the people who make agentic AI useful in the first place.
Mhm.
So if you're not an expert, it's much harder to use these tools and have them be effective.
Right.
So the world of that, we are in a changing world, but I would say be not afraid. And then on the metabolic health side, I don't have diabetes or anything like that, but I love being able to give the thing a picture of my food at lunch and a picture of my food at dinner, and it'll be like, oh, this is how you're doing, and because I'll acknowledge I'm a little overweight, and I could use some help with that, and it's just being easy on yourself and loving that next step.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well,
if I could say one last thing,
yeah, please.
Just to quote our website at bubusan.com is like, Bubusan is an AI powered coach for real life. Okay, fitness apps can track what happened. Bubusan uses AI to help you change what happens next, and that's the big difference, right? It delivers real time coaching for the moments when plans get hard, motivation drops, cravings hit, you travel, something happens, or life gets messy, right? It's okay to have those moments. And this is how you rebound from them.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show. How can viewers, whether current or future ones, how can they contact you? Are you got? I think you shared with me your LinkedIn profiles, right?
Yeah, you can contact us on LinkedIn, also on the website. You can contact Jose, and
okay,
and
let
we'll
me
be able to
just activate this. Okay, here's the ticker at the bottom. That's where you can reach out to Jose.
Yeah,
Jose,
reach out to us. We won't bite. We're friendly people.
That's easy. That's your full name, right? No dashes, no underscores, anything. Jose Antonio Contreras. There you have it, folks, on LinkedIn. And as far as you, Adrian, I think it is. That's a little bit more complicated.
Oh yeah, I have the
numbers, right?
Stupid numbers after.
Yeah, Adrian Perez and then some numbers in there. just type in Adrian Perez and you'll find him. I mean, he can't be missed, and so it'll be right there. What about the website? I believe it's. They want to learn more about Bubusan. Just go to bubusan.com, which is right here, scrolling from side to side, guys. Make sure you click on that part and on that URL to visit Bubusan and learn more about the tool and its founders. So that being said, gentlemen, I really want to thank you for having been with me on the show today. I'm going to ask you to please stick around as we go off the air, so don't log out. And the rest of you guys, if you're watching, remember that every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, we have conversations with the people actually making things happen in tech and in the business world. So that being said, thank you so much. Remember, Wednesdays, 11 o'clock, Advancio.com.
Thank you for having us. And thank you to Advancio, the geeks that talk insurance.
There you go. There you go. The geeks that talk insurance. Yeah, they're also into that. So you can reach out to them as well about that too.
Thank you.
All right. So gentlemen, thank you so much and see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.